Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 Genetically Modified Overkill run. Hope you're all doing well. Today, it's opposite day. Any damage we buy is going to decrease our damage, and any damage that we lose is going to increase our damage, because we're going to play Lich, 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 Lich. So this is going to give us a ton of defensive stats, but all of our damage is going to be reversed. I'm going to go with the Ghost Scepter here. I think we won't get a lot of HP off of this because the Lich passive will steal a lot of our kills, but any HP that we do get will increase the value of our Lich passive, so I think that will make a lot of sense as a weapon choice. In Wave 1, of course, we're never going to be able to get an HP off it no matter what, so I just want to run into enemies to maximize my wave clear as much as possible. We actually made 55 with 4 on the ground, which is pretty good wave clear for the first wave. Go ahead and take 5 harvesting here, and then another scepter, and roll, and roll again. None of these have negative damage associated with them. I'm going to need to keep an eye out for things that give me negative damage. Keep on rolling, and we'll lock another Ghost Scepter. So the Lens normally would be an awesome buy for a Ghost Scepter build, but useless for this character. Lemonade, on the other hand, just a good item, so we're going to buy that anyways. If we weren't the Lich, I would consider combining our scepters in order to try to maximize the chance of getting 1 HP off of them. Since we're the Lich, we are likely going to just steal kills from our scepter with our passive anyways, so we'd rather just get the most number of weapons possible. Got the harvesting to start with, so that's pretty nice. We will definitely need armor, because of course we're playing the Lich, so we're going to be taking damage, and we are a Ghost Scepter build, so we're going to be losing armor. Go ahead and buy this. Penguin's a nice one, but we do have 40 regeneration, so I don't know if we need to buy Penguin. Insanity, on the other hand, this is awesome for us, because it is not only increasing our crit chance, it's also increasing our damage output, because our damage is reduced by 200%. So the minus 3% damage will be plus 3% damage. A roll here. Okay, we did find 1 more scepter, and we can lock a 6th scepter. There's a tongue twister for you, 6th scepter. And we will then be able to max out our weapon set, which is pretty nice off the first 2 waves. Did take a hit there in order to maximize my wave clear. Again, we could combine weapons, but I'm more focused on just maximizing wave clear in these early waves. I think that the Ghost Scepters will give us enough HP as we continue to level up that it'll be fine, just as we get into more numerous waves with more numerous enemies. Let's go ahead and reroll here, and we'll take some attack speed and 3 armor, definitely. That almost offsets our armor penalty that we're getting, so that's great, and then we will buy these 2. So you notice that our damage went up by 3%, as well as our crit chance increasing, so this is just the perfect purchase for us. Get the Ghost Scepter here, and then go to wave 4. 14 HP is fine. The Lich passive damage, remember, is based on our total HP, so we want to increase that as much as possible. But for now, 14 HP is plenty, especially because with Quad Lich, it seems like the damage from multiple Lich characters just stacks. So it's doing 60 damage with our Lich passive, because we're getting 4 times the 15 damage that we should be getting. So it's not like a chance of doing additional damage or anything like that. We're just getting 4 times the damage because we're playing 4 Liches. Let's go ahead and grab the harvesting here. Still early enough to benefit from that. And then a Ghost Scepter. And then we will roll, buy another Scepter. Another Lemonade seems pretty good as well. And we will keep rolling and lock yet another Scepter. Do I want to reroll for 6? I think we're fine. We're just going to go to the next wave here. This run seems pretty easy so far, of course, but as we continue to go further into the run, it's going to be pretty hard for us to keep up in damage, because we're going to only be able to buy damage when we find items that decrease our damage. And of course, while we've offset a lot of the armor penalty, this character is still relatively low health and low armor at the moment, which is very dangerous on the Abyss, so we could die in just from having that be the case, even despite our incredible healing. Making 160 on wave 5, not amazing, but we're hopefully going to improve that. Peaceful Bee is like the #1 item for this character, right? It's +1 range damage and then 2 relevant stats. So that's an awesome find for us. I could take 3 max HP, but I think we can do better. And 15 attack speed, definitely better. And then, do I want harvesting, regen? I would like max HP is the stat I think I want the most, but I'll just take 5 harvesting. Again, I think it's early enough we can benefit from the economy stats pretty heavily. Go ahead and grab this Ghost Scepter and pick up another one. And then roll, upgrade our scepters some more. We'll take the Dangerous Bunny here and get a free reroll. And then, yeah, I'll take the Muscly Dude. Losing melee damage, which we will do by buying melee damage, doesn't matter because this isn't a melee build and the max HP is extremely valuable. This is also the last wave where we're guaranteed to see a weapon in the shop, so we're going to roll here and see if we can lock another Ghost Scepter. Alright, so now our damage output is low enough that our Ghost Scepters are no longer one-shotting things, which means we're going to have to rely on our Lich passive to get a lot of our kills. But our Ghost Scepters should now have enough targets that we may start actually getting HP income from them. Especially if I get a little bit more damage on them by finding negative damage. Some great items for this character. Cake. It's -1% damage, so it gives us +1% damage. And of course, 3 HP is awesome. What else is really good for us? Small magazine. No, actually, small magazine is not good because the +2 range damage will give us -2 range damage, so that would be a problem. Recycle that. And here, I'm going to take the armor. I really want to have positive armor so that we don't just die, so we'll pick that up. Grab the coupon, the Ghost Scepter, and the Muscly Dude. And then, do I want a glasses for a free reroll? I think still no. Alright, definitely Cake, ideal find, and we will take the Weird Ghost as well. I do want bonus movement speed and range, so we'll take the wings. Roll once here. Mastery is also an awesome item for us. We don't care about losing melee damage, so +3 ranged damage is incredible, so we're going to lock all of these, and then go to the next wave. Obviously, Weird Ghost is always great on Lich, because it just lets you start at low health to trigger your passive immediately. So we'll be buying that. We'll buy Sad Tomato very, very aggressively if we find a Sad Tomato. We will buy Blood Donation or Bloody Hand. Bloody Hand is a little worse for this character, though, because it would cost us a huge amount of percent damage. So normally an incredibly high tier find on the Lich, worse for the Quad Lich. Definitely something to keep in mind there. We've gotten a few points of curse, but nothing super substantial yet. If we find a little more curse, that would be good. Also, as you can see, we're leaving materials all over the map, so I would really love to find more material pickup, either Baby Gecko or Alien Tongue. Alien Tongue a little less useful, but Gecko would be incredible. Double Peaceful Bee, perfect. And then here, I almost just slammed that 12% damage because I was like, oh, our damage is really low, I should grab that, but that would be exactly the opposite of what we want to do. Let's roll here and just take some attack speed, and then I'm going to buy all of these items. I guess not the wings yet, but we will roll here. Now we'll take a Gecko. Alien Worm, that's probably fine. We have +2 consumable heal, and any HP we get is great. And then we'll take another Ghost Scepter here as well. And let's hop on into Wave 8. Alright. This should be a pretty good wave for us for increasing our HP, because there's a lot of low health enemies in Wave 8 here. So we should actually be able to get a decent number of kills with our Ghost Scepters. Where possible, I do want to get kills with the Scepters. Obviously, we'll take kills with the Lich passive, because it's worth money. But if we have a choice, we'd rather get kills with the Scepters to increase our health, to make our future Lich passive attacks better. And Especially because that is how we are likely going to have to try to kill elites, if that is something that we actually are able to do at all. We really do need to boost our max HP before we get to elite waves in order to make that at all feasible. Not making that much money, though, because, I guess 290 on wave 8 isn't horrible, but it's certainly not great. We're definitely recycling there. We'll take the Spyglass. When it's free, I like Spyglass. I think that Spyglass is an item that you typically don't want to buy if you aren't going into Endless. Obviously, it's great in Endless, but you typically are not going to want to buy it in normal difficulty 5 run, but Danger 5 run, because it just won't pay for itself within 20 waves. But of course, if you find it for free in a box, then the math changes on that. Take the attack speed here, and I'm going to take 9 movement speed. I think that will be really important for dodging the elite. I think the first elite we probably will not be able to kill, so we're definitely going to need to focus on evading it. I'm going to buy all of those items. I think they're all fine. And yeah, I'll take an eye patch. We do want increased piercing, and the minus 10 accuracy I think probably won't matter that much. Tardigrade, we could pick up a tardigrade here, but we don't actually want to not take damage, and we already have 40 dodge, so the tardigrade's a little less useful in that case as well. Tardigrade also gets less powerful the more healing you have, since you would just have healed up that damage anyways by the time you take more damage, and of course this character has an awful lot of healing. I'm almost certain I'm going to pass at some point a couple negative damage items that we should have taken. I might have done so in that last shop, but it's of course going to be hard to keep track of everything. When you're playing these mind-bending runs, it can certainly get a little more difficult to keep track of what you should be doing. Running into these groups of enemies now, but we've also managed to get up to 67 HP, which is pretty good at this point. Take some armor so we can continue to walk into groups of enemies. Do I want to lose 3% damage and 4% crit chance for the other things from the metal here? Metal, obviously a very good item normally, but that's when it gives you positive damage. When it gives you negative damage, it's a lot less attractive. I think increasing our max HP is still good, so I'm going to sacrifice the damage there, but that's a lot closer than it might look. Go ahead and buy another scepter, and do I want another eye patch? Kind of do, but I guess let's go ahead and level up our scepters first, and we'll buy another eye patch. I will reroll for 9 even with the eye patch locked, because we can probably lock something else good as well. Piercing is incredibly powerful on Ghost Scepters, of course, because the more enemies they can kill per scepter, the more you get bonus HP. Would love to get a Gentle Alien or a Mouse, of course. Gentle Alien would cost me a little bit of percentage damage, because it has positive damage associated with it as well, but we would be able to recoup that loss pretty quickly just based on the increased number of enemies on the field. As it becomes harder and harder for me to clear the wave, so you can see there we were really struggling to kill every enemy, I'm just going to focus on aggressively tanking damage in order to trigger our Lich passive more often, so that we can clear the wave a little bit faster and get a little more money out of wave 10. We're still a little behind where we'd like to be wave 10 on this. On the Abyss, you should usually try to be making about 500, and we're behind that. Just because our weapon's not very good, but we should hopefully be able to offset that because we have a lot of free stats already. Go ahead and roll here, and I'm going to roll again and take the attack speed, and we'll take 15 luck. Our luck, of course, is very low right now, so I want to improve that if at all possible. Buy both of these and roll. Take the beanie here. Oh, energy bracelet. This is exactly the kind of thing that we want. Gives us range damage and crit chance. And then Let's buy the goldfish and roll. I'm prepared to be disappointed by goldfish again, because I'm always disappointed by goldfish, but we actually ended up with pretty good items. We don't want the lantern here, but the mouse and the treasure map are both excellent. And let's go and fight the elite. Is there any chance we can kill this thing? So I'm going to tank some damage just to make sure that we can heal, or we can be healing, and we are in fact able to kill the elite. This is because I've boosted my HP quite heavily, so our Lich passive now does a lot of damage, which is awesome. Yeah, 344 damage on the Lich passive, and we can trigger it constantly. Alright, we're continuing to increase our max HP, not as quickly as I'd like, but still quite quickly, and I guess because our Lich passive triggers 4 times over for every trigger, it doesn't really matter that our HP isn't as high, because we're still just going to get massive damage out of it, which is awesome. Go ahead and recycle here, and we'll take the armor, and then let's buy these 2 things, which we definitely want. Minus 4% damage on the chameleon. It's worth considering because our percent damage is so low, but I think that's still too bad a ratio to buy percent damage at. Go ahead and buy here, and we'll buy the alien worm as well. Sharp bullet. This costs us damage, but that's positive damage, so that's awesome. So sharp bullet is kind of the ideal item for us, and then let's lock the lost duck and roll. Cog, 4% damage for 80, I think is worth it because our percent damage is so low that even small increases like that are going to be worth a lot of total damage. Remember that one of the things we're multiplying with our percent damage is our Lich passive, and the base damage on this is like 400. So even adding 4% damage to it is still worth a decent amount. Go ahead and run into these lampreys and try to trigger the passive so we can kill that loot alien without having to spend attacks on it. Ideally, we don't spend too many Ghost Scepter shots on high health enemies. We want our Ghost Scepter shots killing all the chaff while our Lich passive hits the high health enemies. There isn't that great a way to direct our attacks against specific kinds of enemies, but that'll just happen naturally as well because our Ghost Scepter will clear out the chaff enemies. But we'll leave the high health enemies intact on account of our damage isn't high enough to kill them with our actual weapons. Meaning that the Lich passive will only have high health tanky enemies to target. So it will naturally perform some sorting for us so that our attacks are hitting the right enemies. We'll take the metal detector here, of course. That's 5% damage, so an amazing find for us. And then let's get some dodge. I want to hit dodge cap fairly soon. We will then buy some luck and some more damage and some more dodge. Our armor's actually gone up to a reasonable level, so we're happy with that. I don't think we need the pile of books. We don't have any constructs and wouldn't use them anyways. Let's go ahead and roll here. Take the Ghost Scepter. The crystal, I guess we want to tank damage, so I think we can pass on crystal. I will take the alien worm, though, and then lock this scepter here as well. When you're playing the Lich, Alien Worm is a lot more interesting because you want to be healing in numerous small instances. So you don't want a 10 HP heal from a consumable as badly as other characters do. Now, you should still buy consumable healing on the Lich because it's still just such a valuable stat. But you are more willing to buy Alien Worms or skip consumable healing in spots where you just don't have the money for it than other characters are. Because you just want lots and lots of small healing instances in order to trigger your passive as much as possible. I don't know what it is about this run. I feel like we're clearing the waves really fast, but just not making that much money. Lich doesn't have anything stopping us from making money. There's no, like, 50% item or material drops sort of clause on the character or anything like that. I think it's just that we're not actually clearing as fast as it looks because the Ghost Scepters don't clear that quickly. Go ahead and recycle Tyler, and then we will roll. take 3 armor, and we'll take a Weird Ghost and a Ghost Scepter. Clockwork Wasp, yeah, I do want 5% speed. And we can buy a Garden, that'll make the structure attack speed pretty useful. Keep on rolling. Exoskeleton, we do want as well, so we'll lock that and go to the next wave. Need to be a little careful there. I did almost walk into some enemies with my Weird Ghost health penalty active, which of course would have cost us the run immediately. The Cursed Walrus remains an excellent name for a band, but a frustrating enemy to fight against. And because this is a horde wave, we are having trouble. Our Lich passive is just not helping us clear that much. So we are going to run out of clear speed at some point. Luckily, we have the regen to just tank through most of these enemies, but we could get overwhelmed here. I think with 10 seconds left, we should be okay. I should be able to stay away from enemies pretty well. And we have 140 HP to play with. But a horde wave, definitely scary for this character and a potential chance to get overwhelmed and die. Of course, we don't need the snake, so we'll recycle that. I'll take the lumberjack shirt. That's fewer attacks that will go from our scepters into trees. So we'll grab that. We'll take some armor here. Exoskeleton for more armor and dodge and crit chance from the blindfold, both good. We don't want to increase our damage here, so we won't take shackles or handcuffs. I guess the shackles are fine. Do I want to cap my move speed and take 8 regeneration? Yeah, I think so. The 80 range is pretty good. Handcuffs, of course, we're going to avoid because we don't want to cap our HP and we don't want to increase our damage. Bowler hat for luck and harvesting. I think that's still fine even this late. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that to pick it up. The cog there, I decided not to buy. I think the 4% damage earlier was fine, but now our percent damage is a little higher, so it's less valuable to increase. So we don't want to spend that much on 4% damage. Going to focus more on items that give negative range damage, like Peaceful Bee and Mastery, which we found already, and both of those were incredible. And then now also we're mostly transitioning into our Lich passive being our main source of damage, so we just want max HP to fuel that as much as we can, and as much healing as we can get. More material pickup would be huge as well, because you can see we have materials everywhere, so anything we could get to help with that would be a pretty big deal. Killed both loot aliens, which is nice. We'll take the fin here, because I do want... Oh, no, wait, I capped my move speed. I should have passed on the fin. I completely forgot that I had just capped my move speed, so losing 8 luck there. The 3% lifesteal isn't horrible, and going over speed cap isn't the worst, because it means that we can buy items that decrease our speed and still be fine, but definitely not the ideal pick there. Take the bowler hat here, and then roll, take a blindfold, and we will take Gentle Alien and Insanity. Insanity is excellent for us. Gentle Alien does cost me 5% damage, but the increased enemies will just make up for that pretty quickly, I think. A Scar earlier would have been nice, but we don't need one now. The cursed buffed Stargazer is very dangerous, but we do have very high dodge and very high HP and tons of healing at this point, so we can kind of just walk into the enemies with somewhat impunity and then use our Lich passive to kill them. You might be wondering why I've been building dodge, and it's just a huge amount of effective hit point. Dodge gets better the more hit points you have, so even though we're the Lich and do want to tank damage, we can do that. We can just walk into groups of enemies and take damage. And if the enemies die before we get there, then so much the better. We didn't need to take the damage in the first place. So anytime that you're playing one of these characters that has to take damage, it can still be worth buying dodge, because you just walk into the middle of enemies and take hits from a bunch at once. You have the invincibility frame, so it doesn't matter that that's happening. Just generally speaking, a better way to approach it. Take the crit chance here, because that gives us more piercing. And nothing here I want. Nothing here I want. Don't want the bone dice. None of this is particularly good. Let's keep rolling for a bit. Goblet. This is a lot of healing, so we'll take a Curse Goblet for sure. Gentle Alien. Sunglasses is nice, as is Peaceful Bee, so we did find some good stuff in this shop. Go ahead and tank a hit and just let my passive clear this elite out, because it hits so hard at this point. Ideally would like my Ghost Scepters to focus on chaff, while my actual physical form as the Lich kills the elite. This has been a very long week for me, and of course it's the holidays and stuff coming up, so I'm trying to record a bunch of videos and everything. So if I'm like dropping words or whatever, it's just because I'm tired. So apologies for that. Just forgot what elites were called for a second there. I'm going to go ahead and recycle the robot arm, and we will take the these items. We don't have any explosions, and we'll recycle here. Peacock, we might get one level up, so I'm going to take the Peacock. I think that'll be fun. And it might give us a level compared to not taking it, so I think it's worth it. Take more attack speed, very useful with Ghost Scepters, and we'll buy this. Take the crit chance, roll. Peaceful Bee, excellent, and a leveled up Ghost Scepter, excellent as well. Propeller Hat, another top tier item for us. I actually don't think I want the pumpkin, because that will decrease our piercing damage. So it'll increase my overall damage by 2%, but decrease my piercing by 15%. So I think we're passing on that. Pick another sunglasses and another garden, and go to the next wave. This should be enough critical hit that we're regularly criticaling, which will give us a lot more HP, because it means even faster clear speed with our scepters. Gonna drink some water here. At this point, we have enough HP and armor that we can kind of just wade into these groups of enemies with impunity, even with the Peacock. The enemies are doing additional damage, but with 200 HP, it's pretty hard to die if you ever manage to make it to that much, and we have. Not impossible, as seen by my one of every class run that I did in my last video, which, if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. It is awesome and ridiculous. Take the weird ghost here, more armor, and let's go ahead and combine and buy a scepter. Roll. Tractor is just 200 for plus 8% damage. I actually think that's worth it. We get 40 materials back. So we effectively get a 40 material discount on this item, because the 40 harvesting is going to offset the $200 price. And then we also get some percent damage, which is pretty nice. The small fish, I don't believe that this extra damage will be affected by our damage stats, by our opposite day stats, because the damage like this or like Silver Bullet isn't listed, and so doesn't get affected by a lot of the stats. Silver Bullet damage is listed, percent damage against bosses is listed as a secondary stat, but doesn't get affected by some of the multipliers that affect your stats overall. Go ahead and lock this Ghost Scepter. Tank to hit there, but at that point we already had like 60 HP, so I was fine. It might look like I was in danger there when I took that hit, but we just had so much health already because we heal so quickly that I was not in any danger at all. No more than an ordinary character with 60 HP would be just taking a hit off the start of the round. get into this big group of enemies so that we can trigger our Lich passive more often. Taking out that tree. Lots of cursed enemies, which is slowing my clear speed quite a bit, just because the Lich passive keeps bouncing to the cursed enemy. But of course, cursed enemies are a sign of a healthy economy, so we're pretty happy with them. Let's go ahead and recycle. We will reroll here. I'll just take 2 lifesteal, just make it a little bit easier for us to trigger our passive, and then we will combine, buy another scepter, roll, take some luck, roll some more. Hunting trophy, this would have been really nice earlier, but of course we don't want it now. And this level 3 ghost scepter, that's probably better than the other stuff we could get, so let's recycle the level 1. We'll buy a duct tape here as well, and roll. And of course now we found a level 1, which would be useful. Coffee, another top tier item for us. It's obviously amazing by default, but even better when it gives you 2% damage instead of costing you 2% damage. And then let's just go ahead and upgrade to a level 4 scepter, keep on re-rolling, and go to wave 20. Alright, so I want to tank some hits and see if we can get our passive to kill these bosses. So I'm going to walk into a few of these projectiles. Our dodge chance did slow this boss kill just a little bit, but it just makes the whole run so much smoother and safer when you have dodge, even on these self-damage characters, that I highly recommend investing in it if you get the items to make it make sense. Alright, that was a fun run. Just had to reverse my thinking. Ended up being easier than I was hoping. I thought that maybe the damage would fall off in the late game, but honestly, going Ghost Scepters just made this run a little too easy because we ended up with so much HP. And by a little too easy, I mean a lot too easy. I didn't really have to pay that much attention to where I was going or anything. But this was still a fun experiment with the new GMO mod and quad of a character to reverse all of our damage output. So very enjoyable. All right, my friends, hope that you also enjoyed the video. And of course, if you did, feel free to leave a comment, hit that like button, and of course you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I will catch you next time.